A very, very good morning to you all. Now, I'm on a little bit of a juice fast from now until Yule tide begins, which is the 21st of December. Today's the first day of December. Very exciting. Getting towards Yule, which begins on the midwinter solstice. And some people say to me, midwinter and solstice, they're two different days, aren't they? No. The Celtic calendar for winter begins excuse me, on the first day of November, which is the day after Samhain Eve. It's actually Samhain itself. In fact, November translates in the Gaelic to Samhain. So midwinter falls on there, on or thereabouts, the 21st of December, and that of course is the solstice. So we're all very much in alignment here. Now, the title of this video, because I've already predetermined this, because you know me by now, if I'm on a juice fast, I'm very alert. Jack says, yeah, bit too alert, Mum. The title of this video is to do with the darkness and the light. And it's very apt that I'm making this preparation now, going towards the solstice, because I'm very much a person who, in the old words, prefers to light a candle than curse the darkness. I've never been one to curse the darkness, because what point is there in that? That's silly. That's mindless stupidity. Rather than curse something or bemoan something or complain about something, do something about it. It doesn't matter if it appears to be a small thing. It's you doing something about it. That's all that matters. We can't live in other people's shoes. We can only live in our own. And regardless of who we live with, or whether we're married or not, or have partners or not, or lots of children or not, each and every one of us goes to bed at night very much inside our own skin and within our own heads. This is our own personal sacred journey. So for me, it's always better to light a candle or light a penny candle than curse the darkness. And that's really what the Bealtaine project is all about. And I'm just casting my mind back to a comment that someone left yesterday regarding an article in the Daily Telegraph, the UK paper, the Telegraph, in that the author was suggesting that we all plant mini woodlands in our gardens. Well, hey ho, I've been urging people to do this over the past 14 years. In fact, you know the motto, plant like your life depends upon it, because it does. That's the words of the old sage, Colette O'Neill, getting older. So what I thought I'd do just this morning, because this is all about, lighting a candle rather than cursing the darkness. And of course, the darkness is something too which we should embrace, because it is only through going through the darkness that we begin to appreciate the light. So I'm going to show you photographs that I took. I mean, most of the early photographs of Bealtaine I don't actually have, because of various complications with computers and cameras and so on and so forth, and I'm not going to bore you with all that. But I'm going to share with you some of the photographs taken at the very start of the Bealtaine project, because I know that there are more and more people coming to this YouTube site, and also the bealtainecottage.com website, and I don't know how many of you actually click on the menu at the very top of the website page, which will take you into the transformative journey of Bealtaine Cottage and how it looked before. So excuse me, I got these photographs out. Now, as you can see, look, I've got bits and pieces of birch ready for making this birch wreath. I'm hoping to get my act together today. So without further ado, I'll share some of these photographs. So those of you who've read the book, A Cottage on 3 Acres, available from my website, will be familiar with the story of how I basically used every last cent I possessed and put it into the initial work. I mean, gosh, there's absolutely masses and masses of work, but, you know, just as much of the initial work as I could possibly afford to have done. I would have loved to have done a lot more, but anyway. And of course, I spent virtually no money on the exterior of the cottage. It was to do with the land and trying to get the land into a reasonable state that I could just plant trees, you know, so continually mowing and continually trimming and all that. But anyway, I digress. So we'll just start here. I'm going to stand up. So this is a photograph of where I'm sitting now. I'm actually sitting here somewhere, okay? So this is the back of the cottage, and this is the bedrock. And this was when I basically had a sort of machinery in and digging out as much soil from here and levelling it and putting in quite a few ton, believe you me, quite a few ton of gravel in order to provide drainage, because being on a hill and all north facing, all this, you know, the water was pouring off the hill and just going straight to the back of the cottage. So this is a way of allowing it to drain naturally. So okay, let me just, I'll take some away that are just not ready to show you just yet. Okay, so this was gosh, the reflection on this. I'll just hold it up a wee bit. This is looking over. I'll just take this over here, and I'll stand more or less where I took that photograph, which is sort of about here. Okay. Because there's sleeve and air in there, look. So I might have been back up a little bit. Let me just take it up a bit more. Okay, here. Maybe that's more like it, because there's those trees there, you see? Yeah? Okay. Right. So you can see all the rushes. You can also see a very angry looking cow there. And lots of barbed wire. And lots of sort of scrub. Okay. Take you back over. Now I pick up another photograph. Okay, so then the diggers moved down the land, and this is the pond. Just, I think it was a day or two after the diggers had dug it out. And there's the little stream going back up, and there's the standing stone. And you can see the amount of water all over the ground. I mean, that was like quicksand. You would sink in to the top of your welly in that. Of course, all that's dry now and planted out with trees as well, you know. This was the cottage on the first day that I saw it. Let me just take it up there. The cottage had been empty for 5 or 6 years. Basically nobody wanted to buy it. It was a wreck, and the land was a wreck. And there's the cottage next door, which of course is still there. Now I hasten to add that all the planting, all the trimming, all the mowing, all the work, once those diggers had left, was done by myself. This is the view looking down the land. So if you stand at the front door of the cottage and you look out across the little drive, that was how it looked. So you can see it was just rushes and scrub, and there's the driveway. Very poor land, as was described. This was the cottage then in the November, because I bought it in the May. So this is all my work. I'm just starting to make paths here, and you can see making little. You see how small these trees are? Look, they're just tiny little things. Okay. Now, go back to those photographs I snatched away. So, this is then the following year in the September. So this is the beginning of planting my orchards, all those lovely apple trees and pear trees and plum trees. And you can see how green that grass is. Well, I'd never put anything on the grass, I just kept mowing. Because in order to plant, you've really got to get an idea of what the land looks like, and you've got to get down as low, as far down towards that soil and that earth as you can get. So I needed to keep mowing, because all the time that I was mowing, I was walking the land, you see, and becoming quite intimate with what was there. The lie of the land, as they say. Okay, so this was up the back. So let me just, Jack stood here watching me. So you see those steps over there? And you can see some washing on the line. Well, that's basically how it was. The little steps. I made those with my grandsons, or I actually got my grandsons to make them, and that's why they're dangerous to walk up. And that was the big container for the oil, which of course is no longer here. And you can see I was beginning to make this little stone wall, and you can also see just how steep that bank was, and it was just clay. So of course I had to plant all this as quickly as possible in order to prevent the incredible force of water that moves down that hill from washing myself and the cottage away. So, because of course the rains have become heavier and heavier and heavier. In the first 5, 6, 7 years, I mean, there was regular flooding coming down those steps, but now there's not. Everything is as I imagined it would be. It's stable, it's safe, it's secure. So, I have another photograph. Okay. So this is a cool little photograph here, because initially I put these little posts up, and I had a little seat hanging from there, and I did all that myself. And this is one of my grandsons, who's now of course in his 20s. And you can just see here, look, the beginnings of the Laurel Arch. So I planted, can you see, a laurel on the left, a little evergreen tree in the middle, and what was a red robin or photinia on the right, and the same on the other side. Of course now, and then you can see the little path going over. The polytunnel hadn't been put up then. That was put up, I think it was a couple of weeks after this photograph was taken, because I'm preparing a site over there. So you can see how it is now. That's how it was. That's how it is. So of course, if I walk from where those stones are up to where the laurel is planted, I'll just do that walk now, shall I? So you can see. So that's where the posts were. I took that out recently because there was a big trellis attached to. See the trellis over there? Attached to the posts. That's a little stone wall on either side. You see? And this is going up. to where the Laurel Arch is. Okay, now, if you look at this, you see the laurel, the evergreen tree, and the Photinia. Okay, the Photinia is still there. The evergreen tree was taken out. I had to cut that away because it was just becoming too big. The laurel took over, you see. So you can see where I've cut the evergreen tree down on either side. So there's the Photinia, red robin. There's the laurel, and the Photinia. And then it doesn't look as though there's an awful lot beyond that. But of course, look, that's what lies beyond. And of course, there's the trees over there. And you can see this little tree here. Doesn't look too big there, but look how big it's got now. And then down here, which of course became the fairy wood, it's all planted. So there we go. Now I had a choice when I decided to buy Bealtaine Cottage and get stuck into what was, going to be years of hard work, all of which I enjoyed, by the way. I'm not moaning about it. The choice was to either go along with the general consensus of opinion and bemoan the fact that this was poor land and just, keep repeating the mantra, oh, it's poor land, you can do nothing with it. Or plant. Same as lighting a candle. Why have the darkness when you can light a candle? Why have what appears to be poor, barren land when you can plant a tree? Trees will grow anywhere. I've seen trees growing out of the side of rock. I've seen trees growing in bog. Wherever life is given half a chance, she will flourish. So that view, looking down upon poor land, all going off to the north towards Kilronan Mountain, this is it now. Now those photographs are on the website. If you go to the website, and at the very top of the page you will see a menu. You can click on any of those titles. The very first one you'll come to, of course, is the location of where you can buy the books or the map or the calendar. I'm going to leave the special offer up until Monday. I'm leaving that up until Monday. So those of you who want to avail of the special offer on the calendar, you can do that. You'll have until Monday. But Monday morning I'll be taking that offer down. So there we go. It is better, is it not, to light a candle than to curse the darkness. Because this is how it transpires. You can change the entire world around you. And so I'm glad that the Telegraph wrote about planting mini woodlands in gardens. I applaud that. As I've said before, all of the videos that I've put out here, all of the blogs that I've written, and all of that information, which is stacking up. It continues to stack up. I don't think that there has ever been anyone who has ever put any kind of acknowledgement to Bealtaine Cottage. I mean, I personally don't expect an acknowledgement. For years I never even bothered putting my name out there. But to the Bealtaine project. So I'm very much relying on you to share this and to get this basic information out there. That it doesn't matter what the politicians are saying, it doesn't matter what's going on at the G20 conference and all that darn nonsense. None of that matters. What matters is what you do about it. And it is better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. So blessings to you all. I've got to go on now and get stuck into a lot of work, all of which I'm quite excited about. Blessings to you all.